And here we are in Honolulu at the Stan Sheriff Center for just an unbelievable 3 days of basketball. This tournament is already so great. And look at these matchups. 5 of the top 11 ranked teams in the nation will compete here over the next 3 days, beginning with Tennessee and Syracuse, who are moments away from tipping off this tournament. And Tennessee, a terrific team last year, Jay, but at times they struggled to score. They appear to have remedied that situation.
Tennessee is legit. National championship good. Jordan Gainey from South Carolina upstate, and Dalton Connect from Northern Colorado are big-time scorers and shooters. They're going to make Tennessee much better offensively.
Syracuse, new era. Adrian Autry taking over for Jim Boeheim, but a returning player and a very important one in Judah Mintz.
Judah Mintz is averaging 23 points per game, the top freshman scorer in the ACC last year. He can get to the rim. He's a shot maker, and he gets into your body to get to the free throw line.
Competing shades of orange here to get it started in the All-State Maui Invitational. We can't wait for these 3 days of basketball, such a big part of Feast Week. And away we go. Jonas Aidoo for Tennessee and Naheem McLeod for Syracuse. Roger Ayers, Earl Walton, and Bart Lennox are the officials. And we're underway with the Volunteers getting the first possession.
Well, the primary threat is Dalton Connect. They've got a number of scorers, but Connect can really shoot the ball. He's an NBA talent.
A missed jumper from the corner by Aidoo, a big who likes to step out. And our first chance to check out the starting lineups today, brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines. For Syracuse, J.J. Starling has transferred over from Notre Dame. Chris Bell was huge for the Orange and a Whittaker Colgate. Justin Taylor can shoot as well. And then Naheem McLeod, who comes from Florida State.
Tennessee is physical and strong on the defensive end. Jermaine Meshack, who can really guard, is guarding Judah Mintz to start the game.
And an unforced error there by the Orange on their first possession. Let's take a look at the Tennessee starting lineup. They are 3-0 on the season. Again, Connect can really fill it up. Vescovy and James are both fifth-year seniors. There's a ton of depth and a ton of experience for Rick Barnes.
And Syracuse playing man-to-man, something we haven't seen in a long time.
What did you say? What did you say?
Man-to-man.
Yes, so Adrian Autry, he'll still sprinkle in some zone, but this team is not going to play as much zone as they did for most of Jim Boeheim's tenure. And there is Connect knocking down the first shot of the game.
Well, it was made off the penetration by Santiago Vescovy. But it does not take long for Dalton Connect to get that ball off the catch to his shooting pocket. He can really drill it.
Average better than 20 a game for Northern Colorado out of the Big Sky last year. And Connect was the SEC Player of the Week last week.
SEC Player of the Week and Big Sky leading scorer last year. All Big Sky, little Euro step from the Uruguayan Vescovy. But that didn't take long to get from the catch to the release. And Dalton Connect has size. He is athletic. He can take it to the rim to dunk. He's a big-time offensive player.
The last time somebody other than Jim Boeheim was the head coach of the Syracuse Orange, you and I were little kids, Mr. Billis.
I was not born yet when Jim Boeheim got the job at Syracuse. I don't know if you know that.
There's the first lie of the broadcast. Tell folks what they need to know about Adrian Autry.
Well, Red Autry was a great player at Syracuse. He's been an assistant under Jim Boeheim for a number of years. This is an opportunity for him that he is more than prepared for. But, you know, you replace Jim Boeheim and step into those shoes. It's a lofty goal, and it's a big task, but he's up to it.
A steal by Mintz needs some help. Taylor will step in and draw a foul on Vescovy. Adrian Autry on the staff the last 12 years. As you said, a terrific player back in the day. Still top 6 in the school history in both assists and steals. Won a Maui Invitational back in 1990. He spent some time coaching AAU and high school, and then Seth Greenberg hired him to be an assistant at Virginia Tech. He was there under Coach Greenberg for 3 years before coming back to Syracuse.
And survived it. Oh, Seth Greenberg, a great coach, but here you can see Meshack from California, went to Etiwanda High School. He's a junkyard dog. And talk about a guy that plays hard. He can come in, play the point, handle it, plays with good pace, just not a shooter.
They've really got 3 or 4 different guys who can initiate the offense. Connect. Tobe Awaka has it rejected. by 7-4 Naheem McLeod.
And that's what Syracuse needs from Naheem McLeod. Transferred in from Florida State. They need him to be a lane protector, but also to go up and swat shots away. Red Autry was getting on him a little bit in practice a couple days ago about, hey, somebody puts a shot up in there, you go get it.
Knecht misses with a left hand. Rebound, Awaka. A guy who believes every rebound is his. His per minute rebounding efficiency is really off the charts, but he is limping as he makes his way up the court right now for Tennessee. Another turnover by Syracuse, but Awaka looks like he's coming out of the game.
Well, Tobe Awaka, you mentioned it. He's big and strong and just a fabulous rebounder, offensive rebounder, defensive rebounder. But one thing he needs to work on, he's always trying to get closer to the basket. And when he catches it, he needs to just go up with it. And he's allowing shot blockers to recover. And that's something he's going to learn because he's a really good player and a really good talent.
It might be that right ankle, the way that he's being looked at right now on the bench. Hopefully nothing too serious. This is a guy who's definitely going to have a bigger role this year, and just seems to be getting better and better for the Vols. Knecht now posting up on Chris Bell. Gets into the lane, elevates, too strong off the window, and it's Syracuse ball.
Well, he didn't make it, but you can see he has a lot in that offensive toolbox of his. Dalton Knecht can score in a variety of ways.
Taylor misses the three wide right. He says he was hit by Meshack, but they play on.
But it was a contested three no matter what. Not the best shot he could have gotten there.
Josiah Jordan James knocks down the mid-range jumper. You know, he could have gone pro. Vescovi could have gone pro. Each of them, though, Jay, using the COVID year and coming back for a fifth season.
Talk about experience. These guys have been around a long time, but Josiah Jordan James needs to have a healthy year this year. He's always been hampered by injuries his first 4 years at Tennessee.
Mintz, another tough contested jumper from the free throw line, and Syracuse yet to make a field goal.
So give credit to Jahmai Meshack. He did a great job defensively of containing and then contesting.
Good ball movement by Tennessee on this trip into the hands of Vescovi. Vescovi for three. A bit of a slow start to the season for Santiago Vescovi, who's a terrific shooter. Did have a better game in Tennessee's last one. And he can really shoot the ball. There's a three from the corner and a foul. And Chris Bell has a big early bucket for the Orange.
As that penetration comes down the right side, when you're guarding the left corner, you have to move as the ball moves. And Josiah Jordan James just late getting there. He couldn't help on the penetration. You got to get out to Chris Bell, make him put the ball on the floor because he is an excellent catch and shoot three-point shooter.
6'7" sophomore had 25 points in Syracuse's win a few days ago over Colgate. The Orange were down 24 in the second half. Adrian Autry put the press on and helped get him back into the game. And Chris Belge had 19 of his 25 in the second half.
Well, now 10 of his 17 field goals on the season have been threes. He has to be made to put the ball on the floor.
Adu not going to try it, but being guarded by McLeod. Into the game now, Jordan Gainey, a transfer out of USC Upstate for Tennessee. And back come the Orange, looking for their first lead of the game.
Jordan Gainey is the son of Justin Gainey, the defensive coordinator, and that's just another foul on a jump shot. I mean, Tennessee needs to be a little bit more disciplined defensively.
Zakai Ziegler the foul. 3 free throws coming for J.J. Starling on the other side. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. Ace, the healthful place. Tommy Bahama. Shop for your team gear at TommyBahama.com. And Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, and Angel Gray out with you here in Oahu. Angel, hello.
Aloha. Well, while we kickstart things here for the Maui Invitational today, there are a few teams that actually took action back in October to raise awareness and funds for the victims of the Lahaina fires. And they had a charity game between Tennessee and Michigan State to take awareness, raise funds. Over 14,000 people were in attendance. And I was told by Michigan State personnel that they raised close to $400,000 for the Maui Strong Foundation. Both coaches were in Hawaiian shirts. Teams wore the Maui Strong t-shirts. And just to be here, Coach said it's just really special for us to understand the impact of this community, what this tournament does for the community, but into how that affects us as well. And he said to be a part of that is really special, and it's so much bigger than basketball for this time around, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Angel. Kansas and Illinois had a game to raise money for the Maui Strong Fund as well. Rick Barnes, such a sensational coaching career. He is third among active coaches in wins with 782, 16th all-time in Division I wins. And as you said, he's got a good team, and he knows it. They're going to guard, and it looks like they're going to score more than they did last year.
Well, they've gotten off to a rough start. They're 2 of 10 from the field. But this team can score in different ways this year, and that's going to take a lot of pressure off their defense to pitch shutout after shutout. But Rick Barnes is a Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer, in my view. I think that's going to happen because he has been a remarkable coach throughout his tenure. He did it at Texas. He's done it at Tennessee. Just an amazing coach.
I believe, Jay, this delay in conversation is about how many free throws there should be, but I think the real conversation is about which line is the three-point line. I think everybody knows where Mintz was when he took the shot, but I think they're just clarifying. I think they're going to have a look at this. So he is inside the black line, but he was beyond the white line. I don't know if they're just looking to see where he was or just to clarify with everybody which line is the three-point line. He's clearly inside the line, the black line there, as you can see.
Tennessee's already fouled 2 jump shooters, and whether it doesn't really matter on the defensive point. You don't foul jump shooters. You put late pressure on if you're closing out. You fly by to put pressure on it, but you can't foul jump shooters, period.
And the official still at the scores table trying to sort this out, whether it's 2 free throws or 3 free throws. Again, playing this tournament now being held in an arena where it is not normally played, so everybody trying to get the ground rules. And Roger Ayers, who's the lead official in this game, is calling in the head coaches. I don't think that Adrian Autry saw that Ayers wanted to talk to him. He just spoke to Rick Barnes. Autry seems okay with anything. And we are told the white line is the college three-point line in this arena, so it is 3 free throws.
Glad we didn't have to get the tape measure out.
I know. That was the next step.
That's sort of an indication of the larger point in basketball, is that the rules are different on different levels and should not be. And this is where Judah Mintz makes his living. He's averaging 11 free throws on this young season, 23 points per game, but getting to the line 11 times per game. And he's so good with that mid-range game, with the little bump fade that he uses. He gets into the defender's body and draws so many fouls. You have to be really disciplined with him, make sure you're not putting him on the line.
See, Tobe Awaka has left the court. He's kind of back towards the locker room. And it appeared to be his right ankle. He is standing on his own. We don't have any report yet on the severity or if he will return. If we get that information, we'll pass it along. 3-0 start for Syracuse this year. They've beaten New Hampshire, Canisius, Colgate. Obviously, this is some stiff competition that they are facing here at the Maui Invitational. And Judah Mintz just picked up his second foul, Jay. Maybe that's why the Orange have gone into the zone there.
Yeah, they're not chasing as much in this, and they've got McLeod inside. They can funnel everything to him, makes everything difficult, but rebounding is going to be a challenge.
The Orange have kind of been a middle-of-the-pack team in their years in the ACC. As Starling floats one in, basically 500 in the league the last 8 years, the 8 of the 9 they have been in the ACC. But it feels like there's some optimism with some of the transfers a little deeper. A very important sophomore class, and everybody gets better from freshman to sophomore year. As you know, do you see Syracuse able to make some noise in the ACC this year?
I think Syracuse can be good. And when they get Chance Westry back, who transferred in from Auburn, that gives them a 6'6" playmaking wing that's really going to help. Good fade.
And then Taylor forced to alter the shot. McLeod is fouled underneath by Gainey, and Syracuse going back to the line.
Naheem McLeod has been a presence already. He's leading Syracuse in field goal percentage, blocks, offensive rebounds. If he just runs the floor, blocks shots, is a presence, and goes to the glass, he's going to be a huge help for the Syracuse team with his size.
The inaugural NBA in-season tournament continues tomorrow night with another group stage doubleheader. Giannis and Dame and the Bucks taking on Tatum, Brown and the Celtics at 7:30 Eastern, and then Katie and the Suns, Steph and the Warriors. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app. A lot of NBA folks here in Hawaii. I'm sure it's just because the teams are so good. It has nothing to do with the weather.
Danny Ainge is not an NBA guy. He is a major league infielder for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, well, who do you think you're talking to?
That's why I brought it up. You do not see him as a basketball player. You see him rightfully so as a baseball player.
Played third base a couple of years for the Blue Jays back in the late 70s.
Dion gets all the credit.
Starling. Everything but the finish. Boy, he got into the paint with ease, but couldn't lay it in.
So good off that right-hand drive.
Speaking of NBA, he needed a little George Gervin finger roll to finish that one at the rim.
A really nice job by Justin Taylor to get back in transition. He was right on Jordan Gainey on that catch, forced the turnover. And Syracuse, while they're not known as a man-to-man team over the last couple of decades, it's a little bit of a change for the Orange to be going man-to-man, but they can be aggressive in it.
Mintz knocked away by Jonas Adu.
Like a great job by Adu to move his feet, then he could recover back to the screener at the elbow.
And Connect fouled by Malik Brown. We have an update on Toby Awaka. Let's go to Angel Gray for that.
Yes, guys, it is not a good update for the Vols. Athletic trainer Chad Newman was working on Toby in the back. He was trying to put pressure on the ankle, but right now they're saying that he is out due to the right ankle injury, doubtful to return.
So a loss for a team that, granted, is very deep, but he's a ferocious rebounder, a real physical presence. Awaka unlikely to return. Vescovy got rid of it just in time. Zakai Ziegler back off the torn ACL. Beautiful handoff to Adu.
Boy, what a catch by Adu, and the finish with the left hand. He can use either hand around the basket and just prove that. It's so nice to see Zakai Ziegler back. They really missed him last year in the NCAA tournament.
Had surgery on February 28th, made his season debut this year in the regular season opener, didn't play in the exhibition games. Benny Williams knocks one down. The 6'9" junior from Bowie, Maryland, suspended the first two games for a violation of team rules, played only 9 minutes against Colgate, working his way back into the rotation, Jay.
That's his first bucket of the season, but how about Ziegler almost getting that to go down?
Williams down with a rebound. Does Benny Williams feel like a bit of a wild card for Syracuse's prospects this year?
Yes. I mean, he needs to mature a little bit, but he's got a lot of ability, as he's proven, 2 buckets in a row. And he comes off the bench, gives them a little bit more pop. And if he's engaged, that's got to make Red Autry feel awfully good about their prospects.
He was a top 50 recruit a couple of years ago. It's been an up and down bumpy couple of years for him as Ziegler turns it over.
Syracuse's pressure has bothered Tennessee, and Tennessee has not handled it particularly well. We've seen some turnovers, just a little bit out of sync on the offensive end. You have to give credit to Syracuse for the pressure.
Kyle Cuff Jr., a former Kansas Jayhawk, is into the game for Syracuse. Judah Mintz is on the bench with 2 fouls. Starling with a pull-up jumper. And Vescovy down for the rebound for the Vols. Connect. And he initiates the contact with Williams to draw the foul, and he'll be going to the free throw line when we come back. But Benny Williams, Jay, has already done a couple of nice things for the Orange in this one.
Come into the game, hadn't scored, coming into this one, knocks down a 3, gets into the lane. But Syracuse feeling awfully good here in Oahu.
Recovering from the devastating fire and the ongoing need for support by visiting HawaiiCommunityFoundation.org. The fire took place back in August, and It was incredibly high winds, about 80 miles an hour, blowing the fire down towards Lahaina town, towards the ocean. And Jay, there were down power lines and utility poles, so the roads, which could have been escape routes, were blocked, and many people had to flee into the ocean, jumped over the rocks, the rock wall, the seawall, thank you, and had to jump into the ocean as the only way they could try to save themselves, and many did, sadly. Many were not able to get to safety, and it is known that at least 99 people perished in the fire.
Just a horrifying scene. Words can't put it into perspective. When you see it, it was the most jarring thing I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Connect, 1 of 2, tipped back out, Tennessee ball. Vescovy around and out, kept alive again, but now it belongs to Syracuse. Good job of the offensive glass by J.P. Estrella, a freshman from Scarborough, Maine. And Estrella's going to get, if Awaka can't come back, Estrella's going to get some minutes today.
And he's got size, but you see Benny Williams trying to drive him. Good job by Vescovy to stay down on that Starling fake. Starling's not a great three-point shooter yet. He can shoot it, but what he really wants to do is drive.
Vescovy just picked up his second foul. It looks like he's going to leave the game as Jemai Meshack returns now for Tennessee. What about Syracuse's three-point shooting? Starling's a very good player. Mintz is a very good player. Both of them are better, though, at getting into the paint, getting to the rim, than they are shooting the three. The best three-point shooters the Orange have, actually, the forwards, guys like Bell and Taylor.
Bell is the best shooter, and Taylor can shoot. Taylor's really done a great job on the glass. Already got 5 rebounds.
Kyle Cuff, again, the transfer from Kansas. He can shoot a little bit as well, and Syracuse extends the lead.
Really, Syracuse needs to make their free throws. And they're getting to the line, and Estrella's done a really good job with his presence. He did a great job of sealing off on that drive, just didn't make the layup. But just not there on the catch, and Ziegler's a great defender, but they're going to make Kyle Cuff prove that he could make that. Kyle Cuff's dad played at St. John's, and he didn't get a whole lot of run the last couple years at Kansas. But he's going to get some run at Syracuse.
Estrella, guy who's got good skills. He can pass, he can shoot. He was one of these guys, had a late growth spurt. He was 6'2" as a high school freshman, so he's got some perimeter, some guard skills. He's 6'11" now. His mom played at BC. And I think it's an intriguing freshman class that Rick Barnes has. 4 guys, and maybe none of them are going to be 20, 25-minute-a-game guys this year, but they really give this team a lot of depth and a very bright future.
Well, the brightest future is probably Cameron Carr from Minnesota. He's about 6'5" or 6'6", but he's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's an NBA talent, big-time player.
Boy, just nowhere to go there for Cuff. The Orange fortunate to get it back, and Benny Williams has his second 3 of the game.
No hesitation off the broken play. 3 Volunteers going after the ball, and Williams wide open in the corner. Even though they recovered, Williams got that up quickly.
8 for Williams, and an 8-point lead for the underdogs, the Syracuse Orange. In a battle of different shades of orange here in Honolulu today.
You're not going to make plays off the dribble. A little bit too much dribbling right now for Tennessee. They're not moving the ball.
Estrella got pushed from behind, and J.J. Starling is called for the foul.
Watch, there are 3 Volunteers going after the ball here as Starling drives, or Kyle Cuff drives after the Starling drive, and just a terrific pass by Malik Brown. Great awareness on where Benny Williams was, the fact that he had the 3-point shot.
Free throws not coming easy in this game as Josiah Jordan-James back into the game for the ball as Zakai Ziegler sits. They're kind of monitoring Ziegler's minutes now, again coming off the torn ACL, so a bit behind, didn't play in the exhibition games. He's played 19 minutes in each of the last 2 games, and Jay, with this being 3 games in 3 days, they're not ready to send Ziegler out there for 25, 30 minutes a game.
And there's no reason. Yeah. I mean, I know he's frustrated and wants to play more, and his talent level probably dictates that he should, but you have to be smart about how you go about this. Nice hard hedge by Estrella.
Cuff in all kinds of trouble, gets out of it. Getting a lot of minutes here in the first half with Vince on the bench with a couple of fouls. This is Quadir Copeland. Syracuse again looking like a deeper team this year. Shot clock running down. Copeland gets it off, but it's partially blocked by Connect, and that's a shot clock violation.
Good defensive stand by Tennessee. This is a team that can really guard. And we talked at the top of the broadcast about Tennessee at times last year having a few offensive droughts, and they've started the game in a bit of one.
Connect got caught in the air, but it's off a Syracuse player out of bounds.
There was nowhere to go there.
Yeah.
They're just trying to create something. He got cut off. Just kick it back out. Josiah Jordan-James was right there. Kick it out, reverse it, and attack. Out of bounds undergoing with the 2-3 zone.
Deep one for Connect. How about that? Again, he can fill it up. Offensively, he looks like a pro already. One of the reasons he came to Knoxville, he wanted to get better at defense. And Rick Barnes is a guy. If you want to play for Rick Barnes, you better work on the defense.
Yeah, he said he wanted to be challenged, and I think he made the right choice because Rick Barnes and staff are going to challenge Dalton Connect on the defensive end. But they can post him. They've got so many options.
Cup misses, kept alive by Malik Brown, and it stays with Syracuse.
Connect does a good job of moving without the ball. But he just, the catch and shoot, you've got to be there on the catch. But because he can drive it, you're concerned when you close out on it.
And an Aaron inbounds pass. Gainey runs it down, and he gets fouled by Brown. And that'll be number 2 on Malik Brown.
I'm a big fan of Jordan Gainey. His dad was a great player at NC State. But a really nice job with Estrella on the ball. It makes it difficult for Syracuse just to see in and inbound it. They try to throw long. It's not an accurate pass. And all of a sudden, turnover, and Jordan Gainey's at the foul line. Look at the difference in Jordan Gainey's body this year versus last year when he was at South Carolina Upstate. He looks like a football player now.
He was first team All Big South, 15 points per game last year.
Just an effortless shooter. Got a beautiful stroke. And then he misses.
The Billis jinx. Connect with a strong drive and finish.
He got off to a great start, Dalton Connect did. In their trip to Italy, averaged over 16 a game, shot 48% from 3. But because you're concerned about the three-point shot, just gives a little shot fake. J.J. Starling off balance, and then he can get all the way to the rim and finish. He had a dunk, I think it was against Michigan State, where you're like, holy cow.
That was
NBA written all over it.
That was an exhibition game, the one that Angel talked about before, to raise money for Maui. That felt like a Final Four game, and it was an exhibition game. It wound up 89-88, Tennessee over Michigan State in that game.
Yeah, Tennessee got off to, I think it was 17-1, if I remember right. Got off to a great start in the Breslin Center.
Peter Carey, a 6'11" sophomore, that's him with the ball into the game for Syracuse because Malik Brown's got a couple of fouls.
Look how far the pressure is pushing Syracuse out.
Starling misses the 3. Rebound Gainey, and the ball's looking for the lead.
The pass.
James open. Battle on the board. Syracuse wins it.
We had the middle ball screen and roll by Estrella, and then hit the backside. Really nicely done, just didn't score.
Carey from the short corner off the side of the backboard, and Tennessee in transition. And Gainey was kind of looking down to make sure one of his feet wasn't out of bounds, but one of his feet was out of bounds. So it's a Tennessee turnover and a timeout on the floor. 7:46 to go from the All-State Maui Invitational, and a 1-point lead for the Orange.
Sebastian, it's a loaded field here in the battle for Atlantis. How about Maui? 4 top 10 teams this year: Purdue, Kansas, Tennessee, Marquette, and your buddy Jay Billis, who called you. I know you're still upset he called you a seal and you're a sea lion, but he's still a really good announcer. You got to give him a break. Forgive people, Sebastian.
Man, Sebastian can hold a grudge. Here's the lineup. Here's the bracket of the Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis. It begins Wednesday at noon down at Atlantis. Ranked teams there in Carolina and Arkansas. Good depth in that field. Going to be some great basketball all week long here during Feast Week.
Which one of those two was the Sea Lion?
My monitor's a little fuzzy, so I couldn't tell. Here is Dalton Connect. You know, the K not silent, much like the J beside me. To paraphrase our friend Sean McDonough. Hope you're listening, Sean. I don't know if anybody else would have appreciated that, but yeah, what am I thinking? 1 point lead for the Orange. 5 teams ranked in the top 11 of the nation in this tournament. Our next game is Purdue and Gonzaga. I mean, how about that for a first-round matchup?
Gonzaga ranked 11th in the country. 5 of the top 11 teams in the country are in this tournament. This is the best field that there's ever been in an MTE.
Which is saying something, because the field here is great year after year. Huff goes the distance, can't lay it in with the left hand, and now both teams getting up and down the floor. Meshack, kick to the corner, connect. Would have tied it, and the rebound down to Taylor.
Justin Taylor's done a great job on the glass for Syracuse. And overall, even though Tennessee's given up a couple of drives, they haven't been drives all the way to the basket. They're negotiating these ball screens out top pretty well.
But here Copeland is open, misses the 3. Syracuse is getting pretty good quality of shot. They're just not making enough. They could have a bigger lead than they do.
Well, if they've made their free throws as well, that's been a big factor. Syracuse has not knocked down free throws when they've gotten to the line. But a good number of these shots have been contested, and that's really what Tennessee wants to do defensively. They want to pressure the ball, contain it, and contest every shot. And they want to force non-paint contested twos.
Tennessee pass. Backdoor cut and a foul. Will send Tennessee back to the free throw line.
When you get the ball to the middle, it doesn't matter whether it's Josiah Jordan-James or Jonas Aidoo, that makes Naheem McLeod have to make a decision. And because Jonas Aidoo can shoot that ball, he's got to come up a little bit. And that opened up that cut to the basket by Josiah Jordan-James.
Well, so you mentioned Syracuse not making their free throws, and you were right. They're 3 for 8, but Tennessee right now is 4 for 9.
Yeah, they're helping out. The rim's perhaps not as soft here at the Stan Sheriff Center versus Lahaina.
Yes. By the way, it is expected and hoped for that the tournament will be back in Maui next year. So everybody hoping. This is the 40th edition of the Maui Invitational. Hopefully number 41 next year is back in Maui.
The Lahaina Civic Center right now is being used as a disaster relief center.
And a backcourt violation that's going to turn it over to the Vols. A number of the hotels, I believe, in Kaanapali are also helping out in that regard. So many people, as you said, have been unable to get back to whatever is left of their homes. There are a lot of people with nowhere to go right now.
Well, 3,000 structures are gone. And our hotel, when we were in Maui, half of the hotel guests were displaced residents of Lahaina and Maui. And such a heartbreaking and heart-wrenching situation.
Gaining burst of speed in the finish. Hello.
With the left hand. And mind you, Jordan Gainey was at South Carolina Upstate, played for Dave Dickerson, and Dave Dickerson and his staff did such a tremendous job of helping Jordan Gainey develop. And I think both Gainey and Connect are great examples of, you know, it's not so bad to go to a smaller place and be the lead dog and get the, hey, Chris Bell again, you got to make him put it on the deck.
What a stroke he's got. Syracuse back on top.
And they went 2 on the ball, stepped out of bounds again.
Wow. And this has happened a couple of times now for Jordan Gainey. As he's catching and getting ready to shoot, he is out of bounds. As we take a look now at our good hands play brought to you by Allstate. How about some good hops, too?
Chris Bell gives up middle and paid the price. Naheem McLeod, yeah, that's a big-time play by Jordan Gainey with the left hand as well.
Deflected and stolen. James. Connect looking for a trailer. James, nice move, and blocked by McLeod.
That's the presence he needs to be. Well, he just wiped away a bucket there. And right now, McLeod behind the defense in the dunker spot.
Bell, they made him put it on the floor. It stays with the Orange, 12 in the shot clock.
A ton of body contact those last two plays on that possession, but just wiped away with the right hand just before it got to the backboard. That's a big-time block by Naheem McLeod.
And Red Autry, the head coach of the Orange, will take a timeout. His team leading Tennessee by 3, 4:47 to go in the first half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. And Novavax. Choose to protect your family and loved ones this holiday season with Novavax. How about that? Playing a little pickup basketball with the ocean not more than 50 feet away. That sounds fun. That looks fun.
Didn't look like anybody was playing.
No. The ocean too strong of a...
They're making the choice I would make is go to the beach. Boy, Tennessee putting size on the ball. So difficult to inbound it. You saw Estrella on the ball a little bit earlier. This time Jonas Adu. And it's difficult to see over and to find open people. You'll have to cross match, but I think it's worth it.
James the handoff to Meshack. Can Tennessee get untracked offensively?
Syracuse defensively doing a pretty good job in negotiating these screens and exchanges.
Adu a little bit short. They battle for the rebound again, and it goes over to Syracuse.
And Red Autry willing to live with the jump shot from Jonas Adu. And Adu can hit a three, but if he hits a bunch of jump shots, okay. But Syracuse is going to make him prove it.
J.P. Estrella and Zakai Ziegler have checked back in for the Volunteers. Tennessee, by the way, picked to win the SEC, and that league certainly looks loaded. Syracuse was picked 10th in the ACC. But again, the expectations, the hopes within the program are higher than that. They have not made the NCAA tournament either of the last 2 years. That would be a very nice step for Red Autry in his first year as head coach, is to get the Orange back into the dance. Connect bothered by Bell and turns it over.
There's nowhere to go. Tennessee's trying to push the pace, but trying to take it through multiple defenders. And even if he got through, he would have been at the charge circle.
Is for the entire state, fellas.
Guys, thank you. Great to hear your voices back in the studio. We are here in Honolulu, the Stan Sheriff Center on the island of Oahu. Syracuse with Benny Williams knocking down a couple of threes early. They've got a 3-point lead. Dalton Connect, the leading scorer for Tennessee in each of their first 3 games, Jay, and again so far here today.
Well, Dalton Connect's a big-time player, but this game has been sloppy in large measure because it has been so physical. It's been physical on the ball, physical on the catch. And we've seen a lot of contested shots, and I think Tennessee needs to be a little more resolute on their end to run better offense.
And for Syracuse, their best player, Judah Mintz, went to the bench with a couple of fouls at the 13:28 mark, has not returned, and they have managed to hold on to the lead. McLeod the kick. Starling's got a good look for a three. Left it short.
As Zakai Ziegler went down to dig in on the post and was still able to recover. But just a lot of dribbling right now for Tennessee, and the ball's not moving from side to side as they want it to.
Ziegler, look at that little shimmy shake, but he couldn't finish it. Boy, he just faked Naheem McLeod right out to the left, but he couldn't lay it in off the glass.
A little inside out move. He was just so quick. And one of the best defenders in the country. Gets up underneath you, puts great pressure on the ball, and very disruptive.
And really a big part of the heart and soul of this program as well.
Yeah, one of the most beloved players in Tennessee basketball history.
Turn around by Williams. Boy, there are some tough shots going up right now. James. Whoa. 2 Orange players go flying, and Connect knocks down the open three.
Estrella got kicked in the ear. But it worked out well for Tennessee. Good kick out to Dalton Connect for that three.
Incidental contact.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the official probably didn't know how do you make that signal.
Yeah.
You have to kick yourself in the ear when you go over and report the foul.
So Tennessee back to a tie. Connect has more than half of the Vols' points. Another tough shot.
Well, that is just not a good shot by Chris Bell.
Who got knocked down, is late to get up. Numbers for Tennessee, and James gives him the lead.
A bad shot, and that was a bad shot by Syracuse. It's always the first pass in your opponent's fast break. And that's what led to the layup opportunity and stick back for Tennessee. Tennessee's defensive pressure making Starling pick up the ball. Now nobody's coming to the ball.
And it's turned over.
Tennessee really turning the screws to Syracuse on the defensive end. But here's the bad shot by Bell. The pull-up jumper, long rebound, and now it's numbers for Tennessee. Almost got the dunk, but now how do you signal this one, Dan? Kicked in the head.
Did you ever
still had the presence of mind?
Did you ever get high enough to kick a guy in the head back in your playing days?
No.
You were the kicky?
I was the kicky. Yeah, I was the kicky. I had a number of players that jumped over me. And they didn't even have to be good ones or great leapers.
I think self-deprecating Billis is my favorite Billis.
Yeah, he's not going to be
around. Yeah, I rarely see him. Tell him to come by every now and again.
Well, he doesn't get a chance to speak much.
Copeland had to alter the shot, and it's down to Ziegler.
But great defense by Connect. Got beat on the drive, but angled it out and contested it.
Connect, no. Estrella had it, lost it to McLeod, and it's Syracuse ball.
It was a really nice hesitation. He didn't finish it, but Dalton Connect has got a lot of game on the offensive end.
Starling into the paint and is fouled on the drive.
At least James got his money's worth there in the foul. You want to pressure Starling but not allow him to drive it, because that's what he wants to do. He's primarily a driver. He played at Notre Dame, averaged about 11 points per game, and only shot 30% from three.
He is from Baldwinsville, New York, about 15 miles from Syracuse. And, you know, he used to come out to Syracuse camps when he was a kid. And Adrian Autry, Red Autry, the head coach of the Orange, we asked him yesterday, how long have you known J.J. Starling? He said since Starling was about 7 years old. He was coming out to camps, and Starling elected to go to Notre Dame. Obviously, Syracuse was in on his recruitment, but they had Judah Mintz, so Starling went to Notre Dame. But after Mike Bray stepped down as head coach of the Irish, Starling decided to come home.
Yeah, they also had Joe Girard at the time, who just transferred this last year to Clemson.
Four of 10 now for the Orange from the line. And they are back within one in the final minute of the half.
See if Tennessee can get something quick, go 2 for 1.
Connect's thinking about it. And finishes. Boy, what a tough shot that was.
Just got him on the pin down, came off the screen in the middle where he could turn the corner. And that's the strength that he has. He can drive it and finish, or he can shoot it from three.
Copeland to Starling, still 12 on the shot clock. Pull up from the baseline, another high degree of difficulty kind of mid-range jump shot by the Orange.
A really good defense by Tennessee, and very smart by the Volunteers with 52 seconds to go 2 for 1. They got the Connect essentially layup, and now they're going to have another opportunity.
And Ziegler hits it. So a strong finish at the end of the first half for Tennessee.
That 2 for 1. That gives you separation, that kind of thing, that kind of play wins games. Well done by Tennessee.
And Dalton Connect, he has been lighting it up so far in the young season. He's got half of their points so far today. Angel Grace with Rick Barnes.
Run you guys had to close out that half. What are you seeing different from your group at this point?
Well, I thought we got up and down. I thought both teams, it seems like we waited forever to play. You know, we both got going. I thought we were both a little bit slow getting going, but I like the way our guys stayed with it. We had too many unforced mistakes and missed free throws, but we did close out well.
Connect is connecting in the first half. How do you continue that in the second half?
Well, I still want to see him be more aggressive. I mean, he had a couple of chances where he could have backed down and still do some of the things we like him to do, and he didn't. But he's played a lot of minutes too. But he'll figure it out.
And then as far as Syracuse, as far as their three-point line, how do you think that you adjusted in that first half to close out?
Well, early I thought we got spread out just a little bit too much, and then they were getting downhill. We know they want to drive the ball hard, and we started double-teaming the ball screen a little bit and didn't get out of it quick enough and gave up a three to a really good shooter. But we still want to try to force those contested threes.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Well, a lot to work on in both locker rooms. A 9-1 run, though, for Tennessee to end the half, so they've got a 5-point lead at the break of the Syracuse Orange. Dalton Connect with 15 of their 30. Zubin, take it away. Presented by Lowe's. This is the Allstate Maui Invitational, which again is taking place here in Honolulu on the island of Oahu because of the devastation of the fire back in August. It's not Maui, but it is the next best thing here, still being in the islands. Tennessee finishing strong. They've got the lead, but did a lot of it without Tobe Awaka, and it certainly doesn't look like he's going to come back, suffering what looked like a right ankle injury. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis, welcome back. Time now for today's Expert Moves, brought to you by Principal, and Dalton Connect certainly has some expert moves.
Well, Dalton Connect was the offense for Tennessee in the first half. He had 15 points, went 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point range, did it in a variety of ways. Knocked down those 3 threes, a little shot fake, drive. J.P. Estrella kicks it back out for the standstill 3. Coming off the little handoff, turning the corner, getting into the body of the defender, still finishing off the glass. But really the defensive pressure for Tennessee, it's like body blows in a fight. You know, it takes its toll over time, and when Tennessee has forced a turnover, they've capitalized. 9-2 advantage in points off turnover.
Syracuse made some threes early, went cold late. Let's get more from Angel Gray.
Yeah, guys, I was also asking Coach Autry what was the difference. They had no field goals in the last 5 minutes and 39 seconds of that half. He said we were stagnant. We were missing open shots. He said he was working with different lineups, and he felt like that unit had to do a better job of just handling the pressures. Jay said, he said we couldn't get the ball in. We have to be poised and disciplined to start the second half.
And just as Angel was giving that report, Jemai Meshack picks the pocket of J.J. Starling.
Well, they're running into big, strong bodies. Tennessee's showing their chest on help and making Syracuse drive through their chest. If they want to prove it over the top, then Tennessee will live with it.
James, the 3, the assist of Escovy. 2 guys who've been playing together in Knoxville for 5 years.
Seeing Josiah Jordan James healthy, he's a different player. Such a good rebounder, help defender, multi-positional defender. But you add in that offensive component, and he's an all-league caliber player.
Ooh, and a big collision and a moving screen, and it is Starling of Syracuse called for the foul.
And it looked like Starling, that looked like almost like a pick play in football. Starling ostensibly was passing and cutting through, but just gave a little shot to Jemai Meshack as he was doing it. He was trying to turn the corner to stay in front of Mintz. This has been a physical game,
as most Tennessee games are. Connect to Adu, and a chance for 3.
Running action out of the middle of the floor, and then Adu can just dive to the basket. He has to be picked up. If he's not, the ball handler can take it. There's that little screen in the slot. It's refused, and I think you have to make that ball handler use the screen. Those refusals cause so many problems. But a great slip to the basket by Jonas Adu.
Adu was a little bit under the weather yesterday, did not practice fully for the Vols 24 hours ago, but certainly looks fine here today. And with Awaka out with an ankle injury, they really need everything Adu can give them. Mintz, it won't go. And right now we're seeing the 2 guards for Syracuse, Mintz and Starling, really trying or forced to try to create a lot on their own.
Yeah, Naheem McLeod needs to get that ball. Adu took it away from him.
Adu misses the 3, connects, soaring in, got a fingertip on it, but it belongs to the Orange.
Mintz being guarded by Connect, needed to get that.
Starling, no, another tough runner, long rebound to Chris Bell. McLeod, the biggest guy on the floor, but not really an offensive player, more productive at the defensive end. Bell can't get it to go.
Now, some might say, hey, Dalton Knecht, stay on your feet there. But he forced Bell inside of that line, made him take a contested two. You got me.
Yeah.
Connected, contested two.
And a tough one will go for Starling. The first made field goal for the Orange in over 7.5 minutes.
Tennessee's defense is just so, they're relentless. And it is hard to deal possession after possession with relentless. Even if they make a mistake, they play so hard, they can fix it.
And that's why the hopes are so high. The feeling is they will be a better offensive team this year. That guy a big reason why, Dalton Knecht and Gainey as well, but that they won't lose anything defensively. Do you see them being as good of a defensive team as they were a year ago?
They always will be. Rick Barnes and his staff will insist upon that.
Bell with a nice step in and knocks down the two-pointer.
That wasn't a three. Knecht took away that three. You don't want to give Chris Bell catch and shoot threes. Knecht, even on that last play offensively when he scored, he went right into the chest of 7'4" Naheem McLeod. You see catching it going down the lane, goes right into his chest, creates that space. That's 7'4" he's going over.
And Knecht to get a breather right now. He's got a game high 17. Tennessee leading by 9.
Tennessee's had a number of turnovers in this game, Dan, but they have not been live ball turnovers. You know, they've stepped on the line, they've thrown it out of bounds. So they've made Syracuse play 5-on-5 this whole game. Syracuse hasn't gotten anything off of turnovers take the other way, and that's not been the case with Syracuse's turnovers. Tennessee's been able to capitalize on Syracuse mistakes and get easy opportunities at the other end.
Chris Bell was looking for a foul on that three-point attempt. Instead, it was just out of bounds off Jordan Gainey, who got a finger on it. And now Syracuse turns it over. Here comes Vescovi. Full head of steam and knocked out of bounds by Starling. Still Tennessee ball.
Now Syracuse turns it over out of bounds underneath their own basket and almost gives up a layup as a result. Those live ball turnovers against Tennessee, those are what can really, really hurt you because you can't defend against a run out.
Syracuse led by as many as 8 points midway through the first half, with a big turnaround late in the half and now here early in the second.
The 2-3 zone off the out of bounds under.
Gainey with the drive and the runner off the rim and down to the Orange at Starling.
Adu was there for the offensive rebound, just mistimed it.
Taylor for three. Around and out. And Syracuse really having trouble scoring here in the second half. Adu the catch underneath, bothered from behind by McLeod.
Well, if you don't go up right away, and it's easy to say, hard to do, but Adu let McLeod recover because he didn't go up right away.
Fourth block of the game for Naheem McLeod. Still Syracuse, though, facing a 9-point deficit. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. And Allstate, you're in good hands. A little fun in the sun for the Volunteers. Trying to surf, we are told. Some succeeded, some did not.
Why do you use the picture before they stood up and went into the tube?
You surfed as a young man in California, did you not?
A little bit. I was more of a boogie board guy and body surfing.
How about this bracket? 5 teams ranked in the top 11 in the nation. What a matchup we've got coming up for you after this one. How about Purdue and Gonzaga with the reigning National Player of the Year, the Wooden Award winner. Speaking of 7-4, Zach Edey leading the way for the Boilermakers, who had so much back from last year and look like they brought in even more. Mark Few's team has brought in a couple of very good transfers as well. Graham Ike and Ryan Nembhard. That looks like a sensational matchup coming up.
Well, Gonzaga can really score, and Purdue's going to have to do something to disrupt them defensively, but Purdue has something nobody else has, and that's Zach Edey, 7'4", the returning National Player of the Year.
Nice drive and finish by Chris Bell.
Haven't seen much of that for Syracuse. Most of it has been from the three-point line. They haven't gotten many opportunities, and Zakai Ziegler Just losing his footing there. That's another turnover for Tennessee, but it's not a live ball turnover.
Neither team shooting the ball very well right now. Tennessee 34%, Syracuse 31%. A low-scoring game.
But Tennessee's winning all of the, I guess, the extra effort stats. 14-2 in points off turnovers.
Chris Bell again, and it's down to 5. He's got the last 6 now for the Orange, and he's got the ball, but not for long. Connect takes it away.
When Syracuse decides they're going to go to full court pressure, the Orange can be really disruptive. Just a needless foul by Chris Bell, just a reach in across the body.
I mean, that's going to get called every single time. It's so easy for the officials to see. And needless to say, they need him on the floor.
Then why'd you say it? It's needless to say.
A lot of things I say are needless. You know that. Ziegler coming off the bench in the early part of the season. Again, the minutes ramping up slowly. Another turnover. And it'll be Brown to slam it and make it a 3-point game.
Well, Malik Brown leads this team in steals. He had 10 steals in the 3 games coming into this. Gets a lot of deflections, and he just read that perfectly to shoot the gap.
Ziegler loses it again, and it's back to Syracuse.
So Horn said he had a wide open drive, but watch Malik Brown just reading this. A little throwback off the Horns fade, and he's able to capitalize on it on the other end. One of the few times that Tennessee's had a live ball turnover that led to a bucket for Syracuse.
Brown had a couple of quick fouls in the first half, didn't get a lot of minutes. He also can be a very important guy for this Syracuse team.
Syracuse trying to spread the floor. Well, he absorbed a bump there, didn't get the call.
And back comes Vescovi, off to Connect. The crossover, the left hand, and the follow for Meshack.
2 defenders going with Connect. Well, he's got a little wiggle to his game. He was able to essentially cross over, get to that left hand, just couldn't get it to go. But Meshack, such a good guard rebounder.
Yeah, Connect is not just an outside shooter. He can score in every way.
Got a switch here. Surprised Taylor didn't take on Adu when he got the switch. They switched back.
Mins the spin. And another one that goes around and out. A little bit of visible frustration sometimes from some of the Syracuse players when the shots aren't going down.
Stepped out of bounds again. You want to stay wide and use all 50 feet of the court's width. But 50 feet 2 inches isn't going to help. How many times they stepped out of bounds?
A lot.
5?
Yeah. Mostly Tennessee. I don't know if Syracuse has, but Syracuse has once. Tennessee has done it a number of times. Adu to the bench.
Well, you turn the ball over. It doesn't sound like much, but you don't get a shot. You don't get a chance to get fouled. You don't get a chance at an offensive rebound. All 3 pretty good things.
And Meshack called for the foul. Tennessee has gone to a really small lineup right now. In effect, Josiah Jordan-James is playing the 5 spot on Malik Brown. There's no Naheem McLeod in the game right now for the Orange, but Adu on the bench, the injury to Awaka, and Rick Barnes has, relatively speaking, a small lineup out there.
It is a small lineup. Josiah Jordan-James giving away some size to Malik Brown. If they can double, it's a quick lineup. You want to give particular attention to Chris Bell and to Judah Mintz.
Starling guarded by Gainey. And again, another tough runner. The 2 guards, they're putting the ball on the deck. They're very good at it, but the shots aren't falling right now. And a great recovery from behind there by Chris Bell.
Well, that last Starling drive, there was so much contact. And here you can see the pass ahead, and Meshack looked like he should have just gone up to dunk that thing. Forced the foul. But that last J.J. Starling drive, on that right-hand drive, Jordan Gainey was guarding him. And there was a ton of contact, and that kind of forced Starling to have to take almost a fadeaway shot along the baseline.
Starling and Mintz between them are 3 for 16 in this game. Starling 3 for 10, Mintz 0 for 6. Rebound Brown.
Santiago Vescovi is not getting as many shots this early season as he had last year, the year before. And he really needs to hunt those shots. Great drive by Benny Williams to drop it off.
And Syracuse hanging around here now. Vescovi, nobody was guarding him, and he gets almost all the way to the rim before he's fouled by Benny Williams.
Well, after the score, just getting it in quickly and getting it down court puts a lot of pressure on Syracuse's transition defense. Syracuse, you got to give them credit. There's been a lot of fight from the Orange to get back into this and make it a one-possession game. Who runs more miles in a game or kilometers for you,
Thank you.
Than Santiago Vescovi?
Yeah. Coming up Saturday, it's the primetime game of the night. Number 4, Florida State. Remember, having to play without their injured quarterback, Jordan Travis, right now. They'll be in Gainesville to take on their in-state rival, the Florida Gators. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. That's a fun part of basketball sometimes when you focus on a guy who is running miles. Like, just try to ignore the ball when you're watching the game and watch the guy off the ball who is running all over the place trying to get free, and the guy trying to run through screens trying to stay with him.
Yeah, Vescovi's constant motion. And with that, he creates opportunities for his teammates.
Tipped back out, ball still alive. It belongs to Tennessee. Connect in transition. And Williams reaches in and just picked up his third.
It's so nice when you have a number of different players that can rip and run. Grab a rebound. You don't have to wait for an outlet. Just take it yourself and start the break.
5-point lead for Tennessee. When we come back, Angel Gray will have an interview with the mayor of Maui. People of Maui, because so many of them have been to the Maui Invitational over the years, and like everybody, we send our thoughts and best wishes in the recovery and the healing. Lahaina strong. Indeed, it's going to take a while, but the healing has already begun in a number of ways. And again, Angel Gray is going to speak with the mayor of Maui momentarily to give us the latest on what's going on the island.
Well, for all of us, Maui is Ohana, family. Spent so much time here, and the people have been so welcoming, not only to the tournament, but to everyone.
Syracuse into the zone. They force a turnover, and then they give it right back.
Well, Malik Brown knocking that away. Gets so many deflections. Not sure that was the shot for Jordan Gainey. Not really an advantage situation. Tennessee, and you give a lot of credit to Jemai Meshack. They've taken Judah Mintz totally out of this game. Now, Mintz picked up those 2 fouls, sat for a long time, got his rhythm was taken away. Dalton Connect with the block there on that baseline drive. But Meshack with his size and tenacity, athleticism. Judah Mintz has not gotten anything in this game.
Tough inbounds pass, nearly stolen away. Bell has it, no foul call, and he knocks down the runner. Red Autry really wanted to see a whistle on that play as well.
No, he should be hot, but that's been going on all game long. It's been nothing but physicality.
Chris Bell last year, 6.5 points per game, 34% from 3. Again, it is very, very early, but Jay, he looks like he might be a much bigger part of the offensive puzzle for the Orange this year.
No question. I mean, you like the rotation that Syracuse has out there. And Dalton Connect down on the other end. Looks like he's cramping up.
He is still down.
He's holding that left calf.
And it looks like he just said cramp. So Josiah Jordan-James going to go over and maybe help him up. Hopefully nothing more serious than that.
And when he came down, well, you could see just that left leg totally straight, indicative of a cramp. We don't know what it is, but giving that early indication anyway.
Did you do a little lip reading? I did. They're already without Tobe Awaka, who suffered a right ankle injury, will not return. And Dalton Connect has been the biggest offensive force of the game today. 17 points for the Vols. And hopefully this is a minor short-lived thing and he can get back into the game.
But really, outside of Connect and Josiah Jordan-James, It's a whole bunch of guys that have one bucket. Connect has been the offense for Tennessee.
Yep, sure looks like a cramp. Walk it off a little bit, get some fluids maybe, and hopefully get back in there soon. But now it looks like it's coming back, as they often do. Yeah, it just did it again.
I think Tennessee has to run something for Vescovi and Gainey to try to find an opening for them. You really have to get Vescovi going. He's had some good sequences, but hasn't broken out just yet in this young season.
Tennessee ball with a 3-point lead as we near the midway point of the second half. Here in the first game of the All-State Maui Invitational. Purdue and Gonzaga. Our next game here on ESPN2. Good ball movement. James with a drive. And Cuff is called for the foul. And Red Autry is hot again. He thought Cuff had done everything right defensively.
Red Autry is really what he's really saying. He knows that's a foul, but he's saying, wait a minute. How is that different from what we've seen on the other end? There's no question this is a foul.
Part of the new block charge rule where you got to be there earlier before the plant foot, right? As opposed to when the player's up in the air.
Yeah, Cuff was coming over as a secondary defender. But I think the issue was more, look, this has been a physical game. And if I didn't do as much lip reading as you did, but I think Red Autry was saying, look, we've seen more of that on the other end. How about a little something for the effort? In my experience, the referees don't really respond well to that. Syracuse trying to keep the floor spread open middle to allow cutting and driving. That's going to, there's no question that's a block.
Yeah, block called there, and Mintz will go to the free throw line, and maybe this is a way he can get himself going, not having made a free throw or a field goal yet today.
Judah Mintz has had a great start to the year. He's at 20 or more in all 3 games heading into this one. Just a strong drive, and he's a player that's been living at the free throw line early in this season. I think we mentioned 11 free throws per game coming into this one.
The last time Mark Few brought the Zags to Hawaii to play in this tournament, of course, it was in Maui. It was back in 2018, and they won it. One of the best games ever played in this tournament. Rui Hachimura and Gonzaga defeating a Duke team that had Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett on it back in 2018. The Zags coming in, and they didn't get the easy draw, did they? They get Purdue in the first round.
Where does Gonzaga not win? Good drive.
And the finish for Vescovi.
He had to run a long way and almost got a steal on the inbounds, making everything difficult for Syracuse.
And a 5th-year player who has been a tremendously accomplished player for the Vols over the years.
Syracuse just trying to lift up this Tennessee defense.
How about that? Mintz just trying to draw the foul. He did that, and he made the shot.
Just caught it in the mid-post, guarded by Jordan Gainey. Just turned right around and got the slap on the arm. This inside pivot. This young man is a shot maker. He hasn't had many opportunities in this one, but he can really score. And when he adds a consistent 3-point shot, he averages about 5 assists per game, 2.5 steals coming into this one. And last year led the ACC in steals as a freshman.
5 points now. Syracuse hanging around. And they continue to work on Dalton Connect on the Tennessee bench. And getting confirmation from Tennessee that it is indeed a cramp in the left leg for Connect. Meanwhile, the 7th team foul committed by Syracuse, so 1-1 for Zakai Ziegler. What a great part of college basketball this guy has been over the last 3 years, hasn't he?
Just remarkable. He's had that ACL. His minutes are limited right now, as you mentioned, but led the Southeastern Conference in assists last year with a 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio. His defense is spectacular.
Mintz slipped. It won't go, but there is a foul call. He's okay. And the signal made by the official was a tripping foul, a tripping motion. I'm not sure if Rick Barnes saw it. The Tennessee fans are yelling. Let's see what we can see. He stepped on his foot.
That's not tripping anywhere. Rick Barnes saying, wait a minute, my guy got kicked in the head. That's tough to see, though. The difference between a trip or stepping on a defender's foot. We're asking for microsurgery if you're going to see that.
Would you be in favor of one foul challenge a game at the college level?
I mean, it's probably better than the replay system we have now. I think those that were against replay from the beginning, that said, hey, there's a human element in this game. You can't get everything right. Once replay creeps in, it's like kudzu. It's hard to kill it and hard to stop it.
And Syracuse continues to struggle mightily at the line. The Orange are 5 for 14 at the free throw line.
It is hard to look angry in a Hawaiian shirt, but Rick Barnes does it pretty well. It's hard to look tough when you're drinking through a straw. It's impossible.
You've tried. A foul on Malik Brown. That'll be his third.
Really nice.
The fourth Syracuse player with 3 fouls.
Really nice play there by Tennessee. Just a little on big, low cross screen. Santiago Vescovi set a little low cross, and that forces Syracuse. What are they going to do? They're going to switch it, and all of a sudden Adu's got a little guy on it. That's really difficult to defend. See Vescovi coming across to set that low cross screen. Now what does Kyle Cuff do? Is he going to switch it? No. And all of a sudden they get the ball in a difficult spot where the defense is buried right under the basket.
Adu makes it a 5-point game under 9 to go. The winner to take on the winner of Purdue and Gonzaga on the in a semifinal tomorrow. Brown has it deflected by James out of bounds. Still belongs to the Orange.
Good help by Jonas Adu. Still able to recover to Malik Brown, who's probably not going to pull the trigger on that shot. He can recover late.
Mintz takes the contact again. 2 more free throws.
But Mintz created that contact, and you could argue that he used that off arm to hold off Jonas Adu, who was going up for a vertical contest. Watch his left arm. That was caused by him, and you give him credit for it. That's what he's really good at. He draws that contact, creates that contact. But I think Jonas Adu right now said, hey, what do you want me to do?
Starling returns as Cuff will sit now for Syracuse.
That's one thing the NBA does a really good job on, is if as a driver you use that off arm, they're going to call that every time on the offense.
Mintz now the last 6 for the Orange. Bell's going to sit, and Taylor back in now for Syracuse.
And you can argue on strategy. When Mintz picked up that second foul, do you take him out for the remainder of the half? But Syracuse within a possession, now going to the zone to give a different look. Josiah Jordan-James really important here to get that ball in the middle. Good fake.
Vescovi, the cutting Meshack.
Well, just getting it in the middle collapses the defense a little bit, but that fake by Vescovi made the whole play. Shifted the defense, all of a sudden the middle's wide open.
Brown will take a 3. And nobody on the glass for the Orange. It belongs to James and the Vols. Syracuse in the zone again. Vescovi.
Really nice.
He's a good guy to put in the middle of the zone, but the ball knocked away back on the Orange.
Well, Adu flashed in there. He was in there at the beginning, and then when he vacated, that's when Vescovi flashed in there.
Williams loses it to Vescovi.
So good defensively.
And then the long pass and the foul committed by Justin Taylor.
Take a look at this work by Tennessee against the zone. After Adu vacates the middle, Vescovi flashes in, but then that beautiful fake shifted the defense, and a really nice cut by Jemai Meshack.
Are here in Oahu as opposed to being Maui after the devastation of the fire back in August. Force moving the tournament for this year. With more on the recovery efforts and the latest in Maui, the mayor of Maui is with Angel Gray.
Thank you. Well, first, our hearts and condolences go to you and the people of Maui. And just as far as this Maui Invitational, clearly in Honolulu at this point, but you told me just a few moments ago it took a lot to get to this point. Just describe the last year and getting to a point where you can have the Invitational here in Honolulu.
Yeah, certainly. You know, we're grateful that the mayor, the governor, they were able to help us get this facility. And all the airlines, all the companies, the hotels, everyone that was able to pivot and have it brought here so we could accommodate these teams, these fans here without impacting the resources, limited resources on Maui.
You talked about the resources going into this tournament as well as the people as well. We have Lahaina Luna High School here, the clinics that have taken place. For you, what does it mean to know that so many different people are really rallying behind the Lahaina Strong?
Yeah, I think the word that comes to mind is uplifting. What's happening here, even with this tournament, still, you know, it's the Maui Invitational Tournament being held somewhere else. All of our kids that were able to come over, the volleyball team, the basketball team, participate in clinics. So just uplifting, right? Letting them enjoy this scene, even though, again, we can't accommodate this tournament on Maui this year. We're looking forward to doing it next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much and well wishes to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dan.
Angel, thank you. Yeah, a lot of work on a lot of levels went into moving this tournament. This is a big thing, and this is also the home arena for the University of Hawaii sports team. So they play basketball here, they play volleyball here, and as you know, Jay, there have been and will continue to be events the last couple of days and even in the evening during this tournament. This is a very busy facility, and a lot of people are working very hard to make sure this happens.
Yeah, just amazing work just to pull this off. And everybody coming together. And right now, Syracuse needs to run some good offense because they are running out of time a little bit. Still within striking distance, and Dalton Connect still on the bench.
Mintz with a three, and it's a 4-point game.
With step back three with pressure. He can create his own offense, and Syracuse sticking with this 2-3 zone.
So with no Connect and with Syracuse in the zone, where does Tennessee go for offense?
Josiah Jordan-James. He's in the middle of that zone where he can be a playmaker. That means Brown's got to come up. They play out of it. But Josiah Jordan-James has his 6th career double-double. He's got 12 points, 11 rebounds in this one.
Ziegler gets the three off, and the follow is good. I think that was Meshack on the inside, and that makes it a 6-point game.
It was Meshack. When a shot goes up, Syracuse forced a tough shot. But that's the difficulty sometimes with the zone, is it can give up some offensive rebound opportunities. Nobody boxed out Jemai Meshack.
Meshack with 6, the last 6 for the Vols, 8 in the game, and he's bringing it up the court for Tennessee as well.
Boy, that was a good answer from Tennessee after that Mintz 3 to be able to get a score and then a stop.
James with a great look, a good shot fake. Tennessee doing a lot of things well here, and it pays off.
Well, you have to stay down on a Vescovi fake. He is so good with shot fakes and ball fakes. Got into the middle, kicked it out to Josiah Jordan-James, and he looks like a different player shooting the ball this year. Pain-free.
The feedback he got when he went to the G League Elite campus, hey, maybe you can be a 3-and-D guy, but go back one more year, work on that shot. The better he shoots, obviously, the better his pro prospects are.
And Judah Mintz, he can create it on his own.
James wide open at the elbow, too strong. Still belongs to Tennessee.
Now watch when Vescovi makes this catch. You have to close out on him. Mintz is closing out on him. Little shot fake. Now he's by, draws 2 defenders, then kicks it out. That's just beautiful basketball by Santiago Vescovi.
And again, 2 guys in Vescovi and James who have played together for the better part of 5 seasons. So they know each other's games very well. Adu in the middle this time.
Brown doesn't have to really come up to Adu right away. Knocks it away. His hands are so good defensively.
James, another miss. Taylor the rebound. And back come the Orange, down by 7.
Taylor must have 7 or 8 rebounds in this game. He's done a good job on the glass. Hasn't scored much.
Tough one there for Starling, and it won't go.
It's just good defense by Jemai Meshack. Angled out the drive and forced a really tough 2.
Dalton Connect still trying to work that cramp out and get back into the game if he can.
Tough pass.
Yeah, that's close quarters for that kind of a pass.
Big possession here for Syracuse.
Starling. Taylor. Air ball.
That's where a shot fake I mean, Vescovy was running right at him, just shot fake, sidestep, got a simple one.
Vescovy fouled by Brown. That'll be number 4 on Malik Brown, and a couple of free throws for Santiago Vescovy.
What a career Santiago Vescovy has had at Syracuse. From the three-point line, only Chris Lofton and Allen Houston have hit more threes in a Tennessee uniform.
Career 38% from 3, 2-time first-team All-SEC. This is his 114th start for the Tennessee Volunteers. Again, he has come back for his 5th year, and there's the list you were talking about.
Remember when he first came to Tennessee? I think the season had already started.
Oh, it was,
and nobody knew who he was.
Yeah, it was. I think it was mid-December, and then they had injuries, and they had to throw him in right away. And was it against LSU? I think he had a big game in his debut, but I mean, he was only in Knoxville like for a few days, and then all of a sudden he was starting in games. Connect making his way back to the court. We'll see if he can make his way back into the game.
Dean McLeod back in the game.
Starling with a strong drive.
That was a foul, no question.
And a timeout taken by Red Autry.
A great left-handed drive by J.J. Starling, but he got hit going up and still completed that play. You better strap on your helmet in this one. Bang! That's a foul in football.
On ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Cortez and Peyton and Eli once again on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Who's your NFL team? You have an NFL team?
The Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, I kind of gave up on them when they moved to St. Louis and won Super Bowls because I'm a loyal guy. But really the issue in the Eagles-Chiefs game, it has been reported that the Swift family, the Swift parents, and the Kelsey parents are going to meet for the first time.
Ooh, this is a big thing.
And if you're Taylor Swift, what do you wear? Did you see that piece that Jeremy Schaap did?
I did not.
Because she's an Eagles fan.
Ooh. This is problematic. You think it'll be discussed at all over the next several hours?
I would guess.
Vescovy into the paint, the kick to James. 4 minutes to go. Tennessee leading by 7.
I wonder when Dalton Connect has been cleared to come back into the game. You wonder when Rick Barnes is going to bring him back, or will he? Beautiful.
Ziegler over the top to Adu.
They just put Naheem McLeod in a pick and roll, stays with the ball, lobs it up to Adu, and Adu's got double-figure rebounds in this one. He's done a nice job.
Mintz with a drive and a finish to get it back down to 7, but trading basket's not good enough for the Orange right now.
That guy is hard to guard, man. Talk about slippery.
Gaining a little too strong. Copeland tips it to Mintz. Speaking of football, that looked like a football pass from Mintz to Bell to lay it in.
Easy baskets have not been plentiful for Syracuse, but taking advantage of the change in possession. And right now Syracuse needs to stop.
Inside 3 minutes to go. Vescovy keeping the dribble alive. Got 2 in the air and finds Adu.
Another shot fake and just a beautiful pivot through. That was a gorgeous pass by Santiago Vescovy. And Tennessee doing all this without the offensive threat of Dalton Connect in the game.
That is a crafty player right there in Santiago Vescovy. Now Mintz got him in the air. Vescovy's hurt. Vescovy is holding, I think, his right eye. Has his hands over his eye. He might have taken an elbow there on the field goal attempt by Mintz. He's back on his feet, but he was definitely shaken up in the moment.
Yeah, Mintz created that contact. Little shot fake, got Vescovy off the floor, and then went direct into him to try to draw the foul and make the shot. Vescovy's, you play for Rick Barnes. You've taken a couple shots in practice, went right into his chin.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Novavax. Choose to protect your family and loved ones this holiday season with Novavax. By Hawaiian Airlines, serving Maui with nonstop flights from Kahului to 10 West Coast cities. And Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Dalton Knecht is back in the game. Left after dealing with a cramp at the 10:20 mark, so missed almost 8 minutes. He's the high scorer in this game for either team. He's got 17, but obviously hasn't scored in a while. Tennessee still has the lead as Knecht returns.
And right now for Tennessee, it's about getting the ball in cleanly and being strong with it, because Syracuse full court pressure, and they're going to be going after the ball.
And they've got some athletes. They've got some length out there. They can be disruptive.
Vescovy is so good with his fakes and pivots to deliver the ball. When Syracuse gets the ball back, you know where they're going. It's going to be to Judah Mintz.
Shot clock down to 10. Knecht with a bit of a size advantage on Starling. Off to Adu at the free throw line, and he'll rattle it home.
But Jonas Adu has had a great game. That's 12 points now. He's also got 10 rebounds, 2 of them on the offensive end. So double doubles for both Josiah Jordan-James and Jonas Adu.
And out to a 9-point lead, and Ziegler comes up with a steal, speeds to the other end to lay it in, and Tennessee can see the finish line right now.
That was a big play to knock that ball away and get a layup.
Starling dribbling into the paint. Red Autry calling a timeout with just a minute 29 to go, as it kind of got away from the orange here in the last minute or so.
That's the old Zakai Ziegler there. Just mishandling of the ball. He gets to it first past Starling, and watch with that right hand, just puts it out in front of him, gets it on the rim as quickly as possible before it can get wiped away. Greg Polinsky, assistant to Rick Barnes, who this was his scout. And anytime it's your scout, you love it when you win.
Yeah. You get a little uptight when it's your scout, depending on who the opponent is.
You can always tell who it is
too.
when you come into the shoot around.
Yeah.
The other assistants are, hey, how you doing? The guy who scouted is like,
nothing, nothing. Such a great early test for these teams. Tennessee's going to play North Carolina in the ACC SEC Challenge in a little while. I mean, some of these teams have really loaded up with the schedule, and if you've got the talent Rick Barnes has, you can understand why.
Well, Rick Barnes doesn't mind being challenged with this kind of basketball team early on in the season, but this has been the kind of game. It hasn't been pretty, but it's been gritty, and that's the kind of game Tennessee can operate in at a very high level. Justin Gainey, who you saw sitting to Rick Barnes' right just in that last shot, great player at North Carolina State, and he's the defensive coordinator. He's done a great job preparing this team to defend Syracuse.
Starling short. Remember, Syracuse hit 4 of their first 5 threes in this game, but they have gone ice cold from beyond the arc since. They've only made 2 threes since that time in their last 14 attempts.
Well, everything's been contested. And they're the
Which one's Zach Edey, Jay?
national. He could be the first player to repeat as National Player of the Year since Ralph Sampson did it at Virginia.
And Gonzaga on the other side again, and they can see themselves up on the scoreboard. The fans here can see them. I'm sure a lot of Zag fans are going to be here.
What is it now for Gonzaga? 8 straight Sweet 16s.
Yes.
They went to the Elite 8 last year, won 31 games.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, I'm sure we'll talk about this in the next game, but in some circles, for some reason, there's still a narrative that they don't do very well in the tournament. In the in the last 8 years, they've made the Sweet 16 in all of them, the only school to do that. They've made the Elite 8 5 times, and they've been the national runner-up twice.
Well, people want to say, well, of course, they play in the West Coast Conference. Well, what does that have to do with the tournament?
Right.
They get into the tournament, they kill it.
Yeah. Bell switches hands, can't finish. Adu down with another rebound as we go into the final minute with Tennessee on its way to the semifinals tomorrow.
This is one tough team, Tennessee.
Yeah.
They haven't played well offensively, but they do what it takes to win, and their defense is, I really do think it's like body blows in a prize fight, that the effect is cumulative. You have some success at different parts of the game, but ultimately they're going to wear you down. And that's what happened to Syracuse in this game. Tennessee wore the orange down.
Don't you think with Kentucky and A&M, Arkansas, Auburn, Alabama, I mean, the SEC is going to be a bear this year, don't you think?
I don't know if you know this, Dan, but it just means more.
Time now for the play of the game, driven by Continental Tire.
Little slot ball screen. Naheem McLeod, too much time on the ball. Nobody could rotate over. You just throw it up. And Adu's had a terrific game. A double-double for the big guy. He showed his range in this game, too. Knocked down some perimeter shots. And he can help stretch it by drawing a big guy away from the basket.
And they continue to stretch out this lead. Syracuse was within kind of 5 or 7 for much of the second half. But Tennessee has pulled away here in the closing minutes. Min Snow, rebound Vescovy.
Vescovy made so many heady plays in this game. The shot fake, drive, delivering the ball, even against full court pressure, going against a double.
It's around Starling, but he's content just to run a few more seconds off the clock here.
Do you shoot it here or just turn it over to him?
Turn it over, don't you?
Why do I want a turnover on my... This should be a hot potato. Why do I want to get a turnover?
Well, I think we have our answer. Ziegler the lob to Adu. And some fans are booing here.
Why would they boo? It's basketball.
And the closing seconds will tick away as Tennessee beats Syracuse 73-56 to go to 4-0 on the young season. They finish the game on a 12-0 run and advance into the semifinals tomorrow against the winner of our next game between Gonzaga and Purdue. The player of the game brought to you by Tommy Bahama. Dalton Connect. When they really didn't have much else going on offensively, Jay, Dalton Connect scored a bunch of early points for them.
Well, and the only thing that kept him from another 20-point game for Tennessee was the cramp issue that took him out of the game for 6 or 7 minutes. But Dalton Connect is a baller.
So we'll look at the bracket. Tennessee has advanced. Syracuse will also play again tomorrow, of course, on the consolation side of the draw. We've got Purdue and Gonzaga coming up with Kansas, Chaminade, UCLA, Marquette, part of the later session here today on the first day of a loaded All-State Maui Invitational. We'll be back with the Zags and the Boilermakers before you know it. But first, back to the studio once again to our QB here today, Zubin Mehenti.